Please join me in welcoming Ambassador Ajay Bisaria.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Matthew, visiting professor at the Azim Premji University, Mr. Sudesh Venkatesh of the Azim Premji Foundation, friends, management of the Bangalore International Center, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Very good evening and thank you for making the time to be here. And I'm delighted to make my first visit to the Bangalore International Center. And thank you to the Azim Premji University for making this possible. We meet at a very interesting time of geopolitical flux in a world between orders. The global community has gone through 6 months of the Trump revolution, and this revolution, of course, has challenged the global order in multiple ways. It's challenged the Euro-Atlantic order, it's challenged the trade order, it's challenged the nuclear order. We've also watched the ebbs and flows of conflicts in West Asia and in Europe. We are seeing the unfolding tariff wars and trade deals now in this very broken economic order. All these impact our South Asian neighborhood. But what we have also seen and what is fresh in our memory is terrorism from Pakistan in April, and in May, a very collusive, high-tech battlefield in between India and Pakistan, and a collusion that we saw between China and Pakistan in this battlefield. And even as we are headed towards some kind of rapprochement in the 5-year standoff that we had with China, we've seen this development of the last month. What it underlines is that we live in a tough neighborhood where we cannot change our neighbors, but need to be finding ways continuously of managing them and managing their behavior. With Pakistan, we have seen 4 major conflicts and the provocations of multiple acts of terrorism or jihad, starting from 1947, foundationally in Poonch, in Jammu and Kashmir, and on to last month's 2025 conflict that we saw in Pahalgam. But today's conversation is not about what you saw the wall-to-wall coverage of, which is the conflict of last month, but the attempt is to talk of the sweep of 78 years of this India-Pakistan coexistence and conflict. And what I thought I'll do is to speak about India's difficult relationship with Pakistan, drawing some stories from my book, Anger Management, that looks at the trajectory of the 78-year-old relationship through the prism of diplomacy and through the eyes of diplomats in India, in Pakistan, and elsewhere. What I'll do today is talk of 5 themes which I feel encapsulate this relationship, and then hopefully provoke you enough into a conversation on these issues. So let me state these 5 propositions up front. First, if you ask me what is the one fundamental driver of the India-Pakistan conflict, I would say it is Pakistan's continuing identity crisis. Second, this identity crisis impacts and inflames this bilateral relationship, stimulating this anger and passion that we see expressing itself often. And often the relationship is about managing that anger. Third, despite the anger and conflict, there has been space for diplomacy in this relationship, for peacemaking initiatives in this relationship. Fourth, global forces have played a role apart from in the bilateral relationship. And fifth, Pakistan policy for India now is fundamentally a counter-terrorism policy. It's not a neighborly policy, but a counter-terrorism policy. So let me, kind of defend what I mean by each one of these ideas. First, the identity crisis that Pakistan faced foundationally has led to a strategic culture of persistent revisionism, and also uh, a quest for identity, for ideology, for territory, Jammu and Kashmir, for security, the belief that India is out to get Pakistan, and also a quest for parity with India, because this is the other of India, but it seeks to be a country that is at par. So what it has done is made Pakistan into a garrison state, with a structural hostility towards India. When we look at 1947 or the 1940s, we see a Pakistan that was created in quite a hurry. From the passing of the Lahore Resolution in 1940 to the creation of Pakistan within 7 to 8 years was not, in historical terms, a long period. But the identity of Pakistan never could be fully defined. The founder, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, died in 1948, and I've argued that he had an expertise in creating a country, but not in defining a vision of what that country would be. His first prime minister and associate, also who moved also from New Delhi, was Liaquat Ali Khan, who was assassinated in 1951, and no leader of stature succeeded these two initial leaders of Pakistan. In contrast, in India, we had Nehru, who governed for 17 years. India had Patel and leaders of that stature till 1951 at least. Patel was around. India had given itself a constitution by 1950, had elections in 1952, had significant land reforms soon after. Pakistan had no such luck. It had no land reforms, no integrated political framework, no constitution for the next 25 years, effectively. The first constitution Pakistan gets is in 1973. It stops being a dominion in 1956, but that status remains only for 2 years till the coup of Ayub Khan. So what we see in Pakistan is a feudal and military elite captures power in all this foundational chaos. In 1948, India's first High Commissioner, a man called Shri Prakash, first High Commissioner to Karachi, was given the task by Nehru of going to Jinnah and asking him to surrender his homes in India, because these had become enemy property. And Jinnah had homes in Mumbai and Delhi, and he had sold his property at 10 Aurangzeb Road in Delhi to his friend Ramakrishna Dalmia, who rented it to the Dutch embassy for 5,000 rupees a month. I was there for lunch last week. It's now a property of the Dutch government. The Dutch ambassador stays there. And basically, it was sold eventually for 5 lakh rupees to the Dutch government. But what Jinnah really loved was the Jinnah house, or his property in Mumbai. And he pleaded with this High Commissioner. He said, "Tell Jawaharlal, please don't let me part with that property. Let me keep it." And so the High Commissioner was flummoxed. He said, "Oh, why? Do you want to go back to India?" He said, "Of course, I want to go back to India." And he said that, he waxed eloquent about the property. He said, "I built it brick by brick by brick. What beautiful verandas. It is fit only for a European family or a very refined prince. So you can't just give it away." So in the middle of an India-Pakistan war that was going on, you had the founder of Pakistan telling the Indian High Commissioner, "Look, I want to go back." Because Jinnah's view was, and he told the US ambassador this, that I've created this country, but we hope to be like US and Canada. We'll go back and forth. So this was Jinnah in 1948. And he hadn't really defined any great vision. He fell ill soon afterwards. In 1958, the army had taken over. Ayub Khan had launched the first coup. And the debates went on in Pakistan of who we are. Are we South Asian? No, we are not South Asian. We were founded by the first Arab in the 8th century, Muhammad Qasim. So we are actually Arab and not, or Central Asian, but certainly not South Asian. So and apart from that, there was this layer of this permanent grievance. Also, Jinnah didn't want the country to become a theocracy. On one occasion in 48, he tells the same Indian High Commissioner, Sri Prakash, that when Sri Prakash goes to Jinnah and says, "Why are you repeatedly calling Pakistan an Islamic state?" So he said, "I never said so." And this High Commissioner quotes to him something. He said, "I didn't say so." And he said, "Maybe your Prime Minister Liaquat said so." And he said, "Well, you fight it out with Liaquat. I don't think we are an Islamic state." So he did not have in mind a theocratic state, but his successors took Pakistan in that direction of becoming a military theocracy. What our High Commissioner assessed is that Jinnah really wanted this to be a state where Muslims resided, but not really an Islamic state. He wanted a progressive state. So Pakistan had 3 wars with India in the first 25 years of its existence. It also had a coup every decade, and the army took over for about 10 years, and basically creating a military elite that refused to cede power. Now, I would argue that the Pakistan Army's dominance, which continues to the day, is the biggest obstacle to Pakistan's own being because of the confusion it creates, and it is also an obstacle to the diplomacy. Even now, when you fast forward to 2025, on the 16th of April, a week before the Pahalgam terrorism, we had the Pakistan now Field Marshal and Islamist army general saying in a public speech that he talked of the two-nation theory, which Jinnah had talked about. He talked about Kashmir being the jugular vein of Pakistan, which is what Jinnah had talked about. So basically, you have a new Pakistani dictator who is reinventing himself as a cross between Jinnah of the 1940s and Ziaul Haq of the 1980s. So basically, he's promoting a regressive jihadi kind of ideology, and again positioning the Pakistan army as a defender of not just the physical but also the ideological frontiers of Pakistan and the primary political force, and as the wronged other of India. That, you know, all the definitions that Pakistan ideologically has of itself is with a reference of India.